Okay guys, today I want to say a few things about fasting. Thought it would be appropriate today because it's Sunday. I've been fasting on Sundays for many years. And anyway, fasting is mentioned. Fasting means not eating, for those of you who are not familiar with the term. And it's mentioned in scriptures of many religions, most of them actually, and it's also advocated by ancient teachers like Pythagoras, Hippocrates, Galen, Thoth, and lots of other ones. Recommended for physical and spiritual benefits. So the question is, why would not eating have any benefits? Except maybe an extreme and stressful way to lose some weight. So a lot of modern health teachers have been talking about fasting too. People like Arnold Ehret and Paul Bragg and Ann Wigmore and Matt Monarch, Marcus Rothkranz, who was the first guest on Lost Arts Radio, Gabriel Cousins, who did a whole year series with us, Lauren Lockman, who runs a facility in Costa Rica, lots of other ones. Lauren Lockman in Costa Rica supervises long water fasts, several weeks in Costa Rica, get some really amazing results. Some problems too, as people have reported, but we'll get into that later. But amazing cures of many things. Dr. Alan Goldhammer supervises long water fasting in the U.S. in Santa Rosa, California. And actually he'll be on Lost Arts Radio as our guest on Sunday in about a week, so that's going to be a really interesting show that you might like to hear if you're interested in this subject. But the question still remains, why does fasting help physical health and spiritual health? And all the teachers have explained how it works in great detail. We're just going to mention it here, and then we'll get into it in a lot more detail in the Lost Arts Radio Saturday show, which is becoming a private club, so we'll be freer to talk about some very sensitive information there. But the basic idea is that most of the time, the body's energy that's keeping us alive, this intelligent energy in the body, the idea is that most of the time the body's energy is being used up dealing with food. Digestion, assimilation, elimination. This is a huge constant job for most of us because most of us eat pretty much all the time, other than when we get a short fast during the night when we're sleeping. So digestion, assimilation, and elimination for most of us never really get caught up. And the poisons that become the foundation of disease and most of aging, what's called aging, have been coming into the body since before we were born. This is going on even inside the mother before you're born. And some of these toxins get eliminated because we've got elimination systems, a lymph system, and many other things that are working on getting rid of toxins. But a lot of them, if they're coming in fast, like now in the environment we have, I'm sitting under chemtrails all over the sky, which nobody notices apparently, and pollution all over the place. I mean, we're in a heavy toxic environment, and when that's coming into the body through many different channels, eating being one of them, then a lot of that poison gets stored because the body has to deal with food first. If it doesn't do that, it's going to die. Not necessarily from starvation, but from overload and food decomposing where it's not supposed to do that in the digestive tract. So the body is intelligent, and it stores the toxic material for removal later, but with constant eating, later just doesn't come, it never comes. So if eating stops for a while, intentionally or otherwise, then the body starts to catch up and energy becomes available for dealing with the toxic material and getting it out of the body. The body's not just intelligent, it's actually conscious, which is a huge topic in itself, and we'll get into things like that, what it means for how you can interact with it. It knows what's most urgent, and it knows to remove stored poisons, starting with the most recently accumulated first and then running backwards. And that process of getting the poison from the cell into the lymph system and through the kidneys or the liver and the gut and the skin and the breath and the sweat and everything out of the body. That can be uncomfortable depending on what those poisons are. And so that's why a lot of fasts are supervised if they're very long, especially because the person who's not experienced going through the discomfort of various phases of fasting might not know what those mean and how to respond to them, how long to do the fast, and all kinds of things like that, how much to rest. The other effect of fasting is consciousness, on consciousness. It starts removing fog that we're so used to, mental fog and just awareness fog that we're so used to that we think it's our normal state of being, and it's not. It's nothing compared to our real normal, forgotten normal state. So fasting over time starts to remove layers of fog, and what you start perceiving about what's going on around you, situations, people, but especially about yourself, is amazing. It's just mind-boggling. So the spiritual teachers have talked about the importance and benefit of fasting for ages and ages. And now there's all kinds of fasting you can do. There's intermittent fasting being talked about on the internet all over the place. Dr. McCullough and Thomas DeLauer and all these people who are giving talks on that, which are on YouTube. They're very interesting, lots of good information. We're going to discuss all of them in the new form of the Saturday show on Planetary Healing Club. How to use it for detox, because there's all kinds of people selling detox products. Some of them are really good. Dr. Group has formulated some good ones, and so have a lot of other people, Marcus. But the main detox system is built into your body. You can use it for free anytime if you just understand how it works. And it's really worthwhile to get rid of the foundation of disease before it comes up or before it gets worse. So this is something, it gets into information you're really not supposed to fully understand. The medical industry depends on your not knowing how to get rid of the foundation of disease and aging. So that's why we're going to talk about it. But we're doing it in the club format for reasons of safety, of the depth to which we're going to get into it, and also that we're not going to use it only for fixing and maintaining your physical health, but specific effects on consciousness, which is where the real power is to turn things around in the world for healing. I'm not saying that the causes that we work for so hard are not worthwhile, but what gives them their real ability to make lasting changes is the consciousness of the people that do them, and that means us. So how to use fasting and other things to get back your normal consciousness and abilities that we have forgotten long ago. That's what that club is going to focus on. It's going to be private support for people that are working on those things and how to do it. So it's not free. There's going to be no commercials, so there's going to be very small monthly dues, $10, to help the work keep on the air and expand it and hopefully build a school that we're trying to do. That was the cleanest, most honest, transparent way I could think of to get the money we need to operate. This is becoming a 16-hour a day, 7-day a week job for me, and Doug's putting a lot of time in. There's no money except for this new project that's going to generate the dues. So if you have a lot of money and you want to support our work, that would be great. I mean, you're not limited to $10 a month. But for most people, we're really struggling, a lot of us, to just keep going, support our families, and get by and do what we need to do with obligations. And so if you can get $10 a month, you can get in and get private access credentials. And we're going to get into using this. It's no longer just theoretical. We're going to start putting it to use on ourselves, and then reignite the ability that we have to have a really powerful healing effect on the rest of the world that you're intended to think doesn't exist, or you can't do it, or it's fantasy or a belief system or some kind of esoteric philosophy. But It's real, and I'm going to share with you the details that I've dug up over about 50 plus years of exploration into these areas in health and consciousness. Health is just a first step, but it really helps a lot if your body's not degenerating, and so I want to share that with you. Anyway, if that's of interest and you want details on it, go to lostartsradio.com/club, CLUB, Lost, LOST, Arts, plural, ARTS, radio.com/club. Sorry I'm squinting today, but I'm looking right into the sun the way this worked out. I apologize, but the information's important. Since I'm fasting today, I wanted to share it with you and let you know that we'll get into all the details, how you can use it, what kind is helpful for what kind of results, what's intermittent fasting, juice fasting, water fasting, supervised versus fasting on your own, all these things. And the reason we're going into them is not just because they're kind of interesting, it's because these are the beginning of powerful tools that I want to give you that I've put together, and I'm still really working on. My own research is going on all the time now, because there's so much more. I mean, compared to what there is for us to know, I've just barely started, like many of us, and but it's enough now after many decades that I need to share with you what I've come up with, and I'll happily refer to the great work of other people too. This is not competition. We're all trying to work together to turn things around in a positive way before the people in charge of what's going on in the world succeed in destroying it. And you are carrying around incredible power to make things better, first for yourself and then as a result for everybody else. And I just want to remind you and kind of jar your awareness about the massive amount of good effect that you can have on the world right now if you know what to do. So I'll share my part with you, and then we'll all do what we can, okay? So if you're interested, go to lostartsradio.com/club. Let other people who might be interested know about that. We get enough of them, it'll help us build our school too, where these things can be demonstrated in person and experienced firsthand. I think that would be really good. But in the meantime, before the money's available for that, we'll do everything we can through this electronic medium of sharing. It's still very valuable while we have it. And in spite of the censorship that's going on of these things in the US and other parts of the world, in the private club we can talk a little bit more freely, and we're going to do that. And I'm inviting you to be there with me. So go read about it, lostartsradio.com/club, and if you want to, I'll meet you on Saturday after you get your access, and we'll dive into what you can actually do. Don't be discouraged. You have vast potential. You're not the weak, limited, helpless, temporary being you thought, or that you were told you were. It's not like that, you guys. You're incredible, and we're going to talk about the details. So I'll meet you at the club on Saturday. Thanks.